Mickey Dickerson joins me. He's the executive director of VoteWithMe. Mickey, welcome to the program.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So first obvious question, I'm going to get into your background because it's really interesting in a minute, but first obvious question is, what is VoteWithMe?
VoteWithMe is a mobile app that's free for anyone to use. It's available right now in both of the app stores. What it does is help you look through the people you already know, give you some information about their upcoming elections, and help point you to the ones that might need your reminder to go vote.
Okay, but the way that it does it is really interesting. And man, Mikey, walk me through this, okay? Because it goes on your phone and then it goes through your contacts, right? And what does it do with your contacts?
That's right. So what we do is we've got a compilation of the public records from all of the states in the District of Columbia on voter registration, your vote history, and so on and so forth. And we make that data available to you directly, so you can see of the people you know what their registration status is and whether they voted in past elections. That helps you make your message more effective.
Okay, so the app goes into my contacts and then it says, hey, he's got a friend named Steve. What does it then do? Like, does it send a message to Steve? Hey, knucklehead, get registered in California because that's where you live?
So it will not send any messages for you. You have to push the send button yourself. If you've picked Steve out of your contact list, you can scroll through. You'll see information like what's on the ballot in Steve's upcoming election and a registration deadline, which, as you just said, is passed for most people. And then some early vote information, absentee vote, that kind of thing. Then you'll be taken to a place where you can push a button if you want to contact Steve. Then we'll give you a choice of a few pre-filled messages that you can use if you want, but you can edit them to be whatever you want to say, such as, hey, knucklehead, go vote. That might make sense for you and Steve. Some other people might want to use different words, so they can customize it as they want.
Yeah, I imagine so. And have you tested this out in any election so far?
We have. The biggest field test that we did was in Pennsylvania last year, 18th, when Connor Lamb won the special election as the Democrat.
And how did it work? Like, did it work well?
The purpose of that was to measure the effectiveness of the friend-to-friend contact like that, and that was a great success. We found a 2.4 percentage point increase in voting behavior after a friend-to-friend contact like that. And if you're in the trade, that's a really big number as get out the vote methods go.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just keeping it real, was anybody wigged out by it? Like, wait, it's going through my contacts and then also, so that's the guy sending, the guy receiving, wait, how do you know all this information about me and my voting habits?
It's definitely, there is a little bit of the surprise factor. That's definitely true. It's a relatively small number of people because we've done we did a ton of field testing. We've done user interviews, so we have experienced most of the reactions that people have. A few people are surprised or find it to be a privacy invasion or something, or it feels kind of weird because it's information that hasn't been exposed to you before. It's still all public record, so our opinion on that is that it's very similar to how real estate is actually a public record. And it was always true that you go down to the county office and look up what somebody's house sold for. It was a little bit surprising when things like Zillow and Redfin made it easy for everyone to see it all the time and they carry it around in their pocket. But it isn't actually a change from the previous state. It's just more available. So that's a little surprising to people.
Yeah, now I know because I work not in politics, but around politics. And so I know those records are available. And democratizing it in a sense is what you're doing. And I think that that's great. It shouldn't be just the purview of the political class. And to use it to get people to vote, no matter what their proclivity is, I think is great. So in the past, you were not only a former engineer at Google, you were also the first head of the US Digital Service. I was just curious about that as well. What is the US Digital Service?
It's a sub office within the White House whose job is to try to find places where the government technology implementation needs improvement and then make it work better. So healthcare.gov is kind of the canonical example. It was that was a government technology project that didn't start out great, but got better with some help. And USDS is trying to do similar interventions across a really large number of agencies.
Mm-hmm. And were you part of the team that came in to fix healthcare.gov?
I was there in 2013, and then, much as I might have wished otherwise, I was sent back by the president to oversee the enrollment period personally for 2014, 2015, and 2016.
Just a quick aside: are you discouraged to see how the Trump administration is trying to dissuade people from signing up through that website?
Honestly, I don't think any of the stuff they're doing is going to make a huge difference. People are incredibly motivated to get re-enrolled for their healthcare plans, so a couple of hours downtime here or there isn't going to stop them.
Yeah, because the Trump administration is having some significant downtimes on the website. Some people think that it might be on purpose, and they're also But look, the timing might be on purpose, but they do have to have some downtime on the website, right?
That's right. I mean, we had our share of downtime in the last 4 years, as all of us working on it would remember. You've probably heard of something called Hanlon's razor, which says don't attribute to malice what is adequately explained by incompetence. And like the normal amount of screw up is probably what's behind the downtime, would be my guess.
I actually had not heard of that, but boy, I will use that from now on.
It's super useful.
Yes. Now, not usually with the Republicans, but I hear you on this case, and usually in most instances, that's far more the case. Okay, now back to your app. So, do you want groups using it? Do you want individuals using it? And I'm trying to get a sense of like what comes next for this app.
We were really designing it for what we perceive to be the set of people out there that are extremely motivated by what they see on the news, that are caring about politics in some cases for the first time and not sure where to get a handle on how to get engaged. And we really wanted to put something in people's hands that was not a lot of intermediation. There's not a lot of hierarchy or a middleman you have to go through to get to it. It's something you can do with minimal training practice. You can do it all on your own. And anyone can go to the App Store and get it right now. So that's the use case that we were really aiming for. Now, that being said, now the election season's here, all groups are organizing their volunteers, giving them tasks, giving them things to do. The science suggests that it's a really great first activity for people that are organizing a large number of volunteers to get this into their hands and encourage them to motivate their friends first. That's a great thing to do with the first 10 minutes of a volunteer you've got in your field office. If they're going to stick around and sign up for a canvassing shift or to do phone banking or any of the other things, that's great. They should still do that. But they should get those text messages out because they have a really disproportionate impact.
Yeah, text messages have a disproportionate impact overall. But the thesis here is if you're sending it to a friend rather than a stranger, it'll have an even bigger impact. Right?
That's right. The research suggests that stranger text messages are extremely unwelcome. So we don't recommend that people text people that they don't know. But friend-to-friend text messages are really motivating.
Yeah, and I'm just curious, like, because it's such a good effort and a good project. How are you doing this? Is it a nonprofit? How? And it could be perfectly nonpartisan. You don't know what people's friends are. They might be Republicans and want to do that. I mean, I just say that only because you worked in the Obama administration. But yeah, so how did this get put together?
You're right. So we're a nonprofit. We're a 501c4 public service corporation, which means that we can have a political position, and we do. We're not. You're right. The basic functionality is nonpartisan, but our goal is to help the Democrats win in the upcoming election, and that's what we're aiming for.
Okay, I love the honesty. So another thing that could happen is you could go on your phone. I got hundreds of contacts. I'm sure everybody does, or a lot of people do. And then you might be surprised to find out, oh, I got somebody that lives in fact, it turns out I got 7 friends who live in Texas. I should make sure to tell them to go vote for Beto O'Rourke. Maybe they forgot that Ted Cruz is their senator, right?
Yep.
So you.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Do that.
So it's all across the country, obviously, that it could have an effect.
Yeah, and that was part of what we were trying to design for. Is I lived in California for 18 years, and being out there and caring about politics, there's not a ton to do. You don't matter in a presidential election. You can vote in your local elections, but I mean, California is so lopsided that the Democratic primary is really kind of where all the action is. So when the whole country's going out to vote, you're kind of on the sidelines. But with something like this, there's not too many people that are going to get on a plane and leave Northern California and fly out to Texas to help the Beto campaign. There is few that will, and God bless them, but there's a lot of others that would like to help that aren't going to get over that activation barrier. So this is something you can do no matter where you live to help candidates in districts that might be far away from you that need the attention.
All right, Vote With Me, either in the App Store or votewithme.us is the website. So Mickey Dickerson, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.